Chapter 8 8A Paisley. Practicing my Terra powers was proving to be more difficult than anticipated. Even with the brooch to harness my powers, I still couldn't control them. It seemed that once again, they only came out during times of severe emotion. This started my classes back up with Mr. Thorne, the aggressor. It was challenging to distinguish between fire and earth while under emotional distress, and training was slow going. My room now resembled a nursery with the amount of herbs gathered. Alira felt it her personal endeavor to choose just the right plants for the decor. Now I was living somewhere between a jungle and a forest. It smelled wonderful, I had to give her that. The aroma of earth and rain filled every corner of the room, with a hint of field flowers for color. I'd taken up meditation in my room to help focus my powers and relax. The plants swayed and danced with the beat of my heart as I calmed my breathing and willed the power of earth to come to the surface. I focused on the nearest plant, a potted bunch of orange marigolds. I imagined them growing taller as I concentrated and set my resolve. I placed my hands on the pot, willing energy into it, but nothing came. Hours or minutes may have passed as I sat concentrating on the flowers. I peeked an eye open, noting no changes whatsoever, and finally giving up on the prospect. I crossed to the window, looking down to the street. Alira would be arriving soon, and Fenton waited eagerly for their appearance. I called to him from the perch of my window. He jumped up, leaping toward the building, and scaled the walls effortlessly. He popped in through the open window in about a minute's time. "How's your training going?" he asked. "I've not made an inch of progress. The most I've accomplished were some swaying flowers," I admitted. "Well, that's something," Fenton reasoned. The sound of a cart over gravel could be heard coming up the road, and the conversation was lost. Fenton peered his head out, searching for the owner. "Oi!" he hollered out the window, waving down the road. He began to climb back out the window when his hand slipped, and he tumbled face first toward the ground below. In an instant, I felt the power surge within me. Vines lashed outward in every direction, and they caught hold of Fenton from every angle. A scream was heard out in the street, and Fenton lay dangling, tangled in vines, a mere foot from the ground. Murmurs downstairs turned into a roar as the inhabitants of the inn were clued into the goings-on outside. I sat motionless in the room, and yet I could feel every vine that had grown out of control. I could see with every petal that bloomed. It was unlike any power I had felt before. Life pulsed from me with my own beating heart. The nursery of flora accumulating in my chamber truly resembled that of a jungle now. The carriage stopped outside the inn, and voices slowly carried up towards the room. Fenton wriggled in the vines, snapping me back to the present. As the fear subsided, so too did the jungle around me resume its previous state. I could hear Fenton outside lightly plop to the ground below as the vines slunk back from whence they came. Happiness and relief sprung forth as I realized that Fenton would be okay. I ran to the window and found Alira flung around Fenton on the gravel. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she rocked back and forth with him. "I'm okay," Fenton reassured her. "No need to fuss. Not a scratch on me. What the heck just happened? One second I slipped, and the next moment I'm dangling from a mass of plants. Did Paisley do that?" "The vines tore out the window after you and caught you in mid-air," Alira said, looking up and seeing me in the window. She gave me a wave and wiped the tears from her eyes. Miss Annabel shot out the front door, bewildered, having missed all the commotion. "What is going on out here?" she asked. Marin escorted the girls and Fenton inside, relating the tale to Fenton's mother as she went. I met them on the stairs, still in a daze from the excitement. Alira spent the day fawning over Fenton and his wounds, though all he had was a bumped knee when he hit the ground. I was able to get some much-needed time with Cadence while Miss Annabel and Marin sat talking. The fall from the window had hastened the lines of Alira's and Fenton's shy crush. The situation seemed to be a budding romance now, complete with hand-holding the rest of the day. The inn buzzed with more activity than normal as news spread of Fenton's incident and the vines. I looked over at Fenton and as Alira gently stroked his hand while they talked. A twinge of jealousy ran through me, which ignited another bout of Flora cropping up about the tavern. The residents looked about to see what the matter was, as I attempted to hide my embarrassment and clear my mind. "Sorry, I guess I'm still emotional," I stated, trying to avoid any further questions. Cadence seemed content with the flora around her and was peacefully playing with a stem nearby as the leafage slunk back to their respective pots. I thought about Cadence and how big she had gotten. Her soft chocolate trussels were already coming to her nape. Her teeth were coming in, and she was beginning to walk around. This proved to be quite trying for Marin, who would run about after her. There was never enough time with Alira and Cadence. As soon as they came, it was as if they were leaving again. It would only get worse if I were to go off to the tutelage, and I wondered if I should set my sights for the Magus school that Grandfather was preparing for. The girls spent the weekend with me at the Cove, helping me to develop my newfound Terra powers. They seemed to be easier to manifest while Cadence was near. I could now enhance the flowers around me to grow and dance joyously for my sister's delight. We busied ourselves making flower wreaths and crowns for one another while I practiced into the night.